to another edition of Nerd Action Comic Book Review. I'm King Eddie. Let's jump right in. Today we're gonna be reviewing Invincible number 112. Now if you know me, you know that Invincible is by far and away my favorite superhero book. This book kicks off with the post-Cecil murder scene in which Robot has killed Cecil, the man from the CIA that's been orchestrating a lot of Invincible's movements and the Guardians of the Globe. He killed him violently. We've never seen this out of Robot before. We've seen him in battle, but we've never seen him this vicious. And once again, everything is being done with the greater good in mind. This scene starts with Robot, aka Rex, and Donald Ferguson, who is Cecil's right-hand man. They're standing at the murder scene of Cecil, and Donald is kind of confused, and he almost suspects Invincible of doing the deed. From this point on, it is just a murderous rampage by Robot, set to the tune of himself trying to convince Monster Girl that all of the forthcoming violence is a necessity. Okay, this is like Murder the World Tour. He claims all of the Reanimen. He takes out Black Samson, Elephant, Shapesmith, Knockout, Kid Thor, Yeti. Most shockingly of all, he attempts to take out Monster Girl herself. When Monster Girl realizes that basically everything he's trying to convince her to go along with has already happened, it happens at the instant that she actually saves his life from Best Tiger, who comes in and tries to assassinate him. She saves Rex's life, and then she realizes that he's already started, that's why Best Tiger attempted this assassination. And she's flooded with an emotion of helplessness and of being a fool, because she was warned by her estranged son from the other dimension of the monster that Rex had become over there, and some of the cold-blooded things he did in the other dimension in the name of creating a better world. When she resists even the slightest bit, I think the most shocking part of all, through all the murder, through all the terror, through all of the just cold-blooded destruction that Rex causes, he immediately detains Monster Girl and he leans into Monster Girl, who's the love of his life and has been for well over 700 years if you count his time in the alternate dimension. He leans forward, he looks at her right in her eyes, and he says, "I want you to remember, you betrayed me first." Seriously? This is a turning point. There's no going back for Robot now. There's no going back for Rex. All of the murder and mayhem and destruction in the world of Invincible, in this universe, it can be forgiven. Look at Omni-Man and the Guardians of the Globe and all the innocent people he murdered. He's nearly forgiven. But when he says that to his soulmate, to the one partner he's ever truly had, who loved him for who he was, there's just no going back for him. He is 100% a villain. If you look back to one of the earlier issues of Invincible, Mark actually says to Eve, you never know which one of your partners is gonna go crazy and become the next big villain. So this is something that's kind of been looming overhead for a very long time. And it's happened many times in Invincible, but even more so now, it's more shocking because Robot has been the glue of so many variations of Guardians of the Globe and Team and Invincible and everyone. He orchestrates everything. So it's very challenging and hurtful to think of what's going to happen next. As soon as Monster Girl hears these words that Robot speaks to her, she just is dragged away screaming his name. She knows she's going to die. He sent her to her death. They shot her out the airlock, and that's the last thing you see in issue 112 is Monster Girl gasping for air in the void of space. This is something that really left us on a cliffhanger. At no point in issue 112 do we see Mark Grayson Invincible. The last we have seen of him, he was retreating to his dad's moon fortress with his injured, pregnant girlfriend, Adam Eve, who had just had her leg ripped off. Yes, her leg ripped off by Robot. We can assume that hopefully in issue 113 we will see Mark Grayson, Invincible, swoop in and save Monster Earl at the last second. But based on what we've seen in issue 112 and the issues that precede, there's just no telling if that's going to happen. If the hair on your arm isn't standing up at the end of that book, then you clearly need to go back and reintroduce yourself, reconnect emotionally with the cast of characters in this universe. Because from everything from issue 1 to now, it's such a rich character base, and you're so entwined with all of these stories from all of these characters, and so to see so many of them go out in one issue, that's a very strong gear that we're changing into with this book, and the tone is now completely changed. Everything that Kirkman promised about a new Invincible Universe, it has come to fruition. Everything has changed officially at the end of Invincible number 112. Let's hope that everything works out in the next issue. I truly cannot wait to see what's going to happen. And you know, I'm going to be first in line at my local comic book shop. If you're here on Oahu, in Hawaii, be sure to come to Dragon's Lair Comics and Collectibles. Pick up your copy when it hits the stands. If you're not, I suggest you buy a plane ticket, fly here, and go there. That's it. Thanks again to all of my supporters and sponsors for Nerd Action Comic Book Review. I'm King Eddie. We'll see you next time.